What do we have here? It's a Poseidon. Yeah. You may have seen these come around the internet. You may see direct-to-consumer sales. I've seen a few in the used market. I believe it's a newer company, but you know, it seems to be pretty decent. But we'll go and review in more detail. This one actually was purchased by a customer of mine, and he wants me to do the upgrades that he paid for to kind of make sure they're done correctly, and I've set up a tubeless as well. But in any case, we're going to review the Poseidon bike, this particular model, which is the which is a gravel bike, which a straight bar is one of the options. And we'll do some price comparisons of new from this to you, from also Trek and Specialized. See what they have that's very comparable or is comparable at all. Is this a game changer? I might think this might be a game changer in the market, pushing these companies to go, hey, there's an open market, which we already know, but let's review and check this out after this. Welcome to I Know a Guy Bicycles, hanging out with a guy. Hi, I'm Justin the Guy. Obviously I have a garage shop. Take scary out of used, one bike at a time. If you want to be kept up to date on latest projects and topics, please like and subscribe. Poseidon, God of the Sea, stillness and calmness of serenity. Sounds like a pretty darn good name to me. No, anybody that's into cycling wants to ride, yeah, you're in for the adrenaline rush of it, in addition to some basically peace of mind. In any case, you want it to be fun, right? So cycling in itself has been batted around the last couple of years because of COVID, and our industry's hit some weirdness, and we're going to be coming out of this sometime soon. But Poseidon, a little bit of history, is they're based out of California. They claim to own their own factory that's producing their bikes, and they have that kind of control of what design and quality control and all those things. Great Kool-Aid, right? But if you really think about it, a lot of the manufacturers, you may own there, it might be in Taiwan, I don't know. We'll have to look for a sticker here if we can find one. I didn't have the original box, so I couldn't really tell you. But in any case, we'll probably look into that a little bit more and try to see if we find out. But looking at this, a customer came in. He's one of my good customers, and he decided to buy a bike online, which is this guy here. And lo and behold, he read some reviews, did his homework, and a couple things we're going to be doing to this to kind of make it a little perform better, where there's some kind of review pieces, and we'll review that too as well to do upgrades, and also switch it through from a quick release to a through axle with disc brakes. This has the Tektro cable actuated disc brakes, which actually are pretty decent, but the housing and cables themselves need to be replaced to compressionless to make them perform a little bit better. This also has micro shift, shifter, and rear derailleur. It's a single speed. I'll have to count the gears in the back. I don't know off the top of my head, but looking at the frame in itself, and he brought this in, and I've been in do a little research. I'm like, interesting. The frame, it looks like any other frame from Giant, Trek, Specialized. Not saying it's made in the same place. Apparently it's not, but as in quality and so forth. And when I was talking to the customer, and the couple little features, the switch out the drops in the back from quick release to through axle, and also a fork that's with the integrated headset, this frame looks pretty much common standard with today's standards, less expensive bikes. But here's the kicker. This particular bike, he got with all the upgrades for less than $1,000. New. Shipped to his house, included. That may have been a special deal for shipping, maybe an extra $100 off at the current website that I've seen right now for their bikes. Sizes might be limited. Well, that's pretty much the case with all the brands, but we're going to talk about that in a little bit here. But first and foremost, starting right off, it has good bones. You got 3 bottle cages here, more of like your gravel experience bike. If you wanted to strip this and put it back to, or put it to a drop bar with drop shifters, you can. It's basically a good frame and fork that's good bones. And guess what? The fork is carbon. and the upgrade fork package they provide with the through axle carbon fork as well. So here's the thing, it has micro shift, which is a little bit cheaper, less expensive in the marketplace, but it's becoming more known on bike lines. Specialized is using it, definitely, and a couple other brands, I'm sure. And when you look at those, you're like, okay, they must have some weight to it. And when you look at the Specialized bike that has the micro shift componentry on it, it's quite a bit more, quite honestly. So looking at this particular bike, pretty awesome. The colors, they got a couple different colors, 3, 4, 5 different sizes. They primarily have, I think, 3 different gravel style bikes and 1 mountain, and they're not a big company, let's just say. But what they do seems like it's really focused and great. Well, what's huge right now that's new, besides electric assist bikes and electrical shifting, is the gravel scene, right? The gravel scene is nothing new. I've been riding a cyclocross bike for the last 3 decades. That was the gravel bike. Well, now they've actually made it a little more versatile. There's a couple gravel bikes like this one here, which has pretty close to the road geometry-ish, but it has a wider open frame to accommodate wider tires. Here's the beautiful thing. If you got a bike like this and you got another set of wheels, put road tires on them, then you have your gravel fat tires and road tires. And if I saw it correctly, the replacement wheel through axles that they have that are stock, granted, it's probably entry level, it's not like super high end, but at least a wheel set for 150 bucks, you have 2 bikes in one for 150 bucks with the upgrade. I've been looking for a bike line, quite honestly, that's decent and priced appropriately, because there's no entry-level bikes in Trek and Specialized Giant for gravel and road, because you're looking at $1,500 to $2,000, except for now, because a lot of them are discounting aggressively because they've overstocked. But that's going to end. But are their prices going to come down to that regularly? Highly unlikely. I'm just not going to say it. They are what they are. That provides a good company like this one to be able to fill into that niche and provide a direct-to-consumer bike that's decent. Granted, if you don't really know how to use tools, look for, you still may have to take to a bike mechanic to do the final touches, what have you. In this case, he wants a tubeless setup on the cables and so forth, and he's had bikes for me tuned up before, so he really wanted me to cut my teeth on this and make it right for him. And also, I was like, a great opportunity for me. I can review a bike. This is not a paid advertisement by any means. This company is not giving me anything, nor the customer. The customer purchased this outright. So this is actually a grain of salt review. So I'm going to go through each part of this individually and focus on it, and also the step-by-step process of doing the tubeless setup and switching over to the through axle. So if you want to watch the technical upgrade changes and so forth, hang tight, we'll go through that. But before I go into that, I want to go over 2 things. One is comparisons. Comparisons first, Trek has an FX line. It's basically their hybrid style, which is going to be close to that, and that's close to what Trek has. And their FX line, they have a model that's very similar to this. I think it's 2.0, or is that the Specialized one? But anyway, they have an FX that goes for $749. Okay, $749, pretty comparable, although it doesn't have a carbon fork, it has an aluminum fork. Dinger. It does have hydraulic brakes, but with this, it has a cable actuated, so you got the carbon and tubeless setup ready, tubeless ready wheel set. So, and here's the stinging of it. It's $100 cheaper than the Trek that's on sale for $749. Look at Specialized. Same price point. This Cirrus. Cirrus has been around for years. Very similar type. Same thing. You got yourself aluminum frame. These are all aluminum frames. They have their fancy names to them, like the Trek Gold aluminum or whatever. They may have their Kool-Aid, the push down on it, but pretty much it's pretty close to the same. specialized aluminum fork as well. Doesn't have, the hydraulic. They have hydraulics there, so you're going to get the hydraulic. But quite honestly, the lower end hydraulic and cable actuators with these here are going to be very comparable. But again, $100 cheaper. Look at the counterpart. You spend a little bit of money to get the upgrade, the through axle kit conversion. All right, you get the wheels, a fork, and the dropout parts. I think it's like 400 listed on their website. So that puts the bike up at 540, 640, 740, 840, 940, under a grand, right? Their $1,000 bike with through axle is way more than that. So you're getting yourself $100 or $200 cheaper, free freight, possibly. I can't say more, and it has good bones. So if this situation where you're kind of strapped for cash, and you only have $600, $700 is the budget to buy a road bike, gravel bike. This with drops, which I think the drops are a little bit more expensive, but I can't tell you. It's a new bike in the box, delivered to you. You can put it together. There's videos, boom, and it has a lifetime warranty as well. In any case, that's what I'm looking for. You need that upper $500 to $1,000 bike for road. Also, I'll bop into Walmart. They have a gravel bike that they're pushing too, and seeing what kind of comparisons on that, and maybe I'll take a picture of that, compare it to this guy. But in any case, sounds like a decent company. Gods of the sea. Let's dive into these. Looking at these micro parts in various bits, whatever. Just to give a comparison to the Ozark that you'll find at Walmart, they actually do come sized, which I'm kind of amazed that they have sizing to them. Like a lot of Walmart bikes don't, so usually one size fits most. But you're looking at, pretty expensive disc brake system, but it is a steel fork versus an alloy. But it does have the mounts, aluminum frame has the mounts too. But what you got is, getting closer here, a double tourney rear. And that looks like a freewheel versus a cassette, so the axle structure is not going to be as strong. In addition to the frame itself is probably not the best manufacturing, but it looks okay. Comes with a kickstand, double wall rims, so forth. But what is insane about this particular bike, it does have kind of like your knockoff brand shifters, which are integrated with the brake levers, which is interesting. But here's the kicker, $250. That is not a bad price for a gravel style bike that, if tuned correctly, will actually be pretty decent. Crazy, huh? Well, here we have it. Through axle, carbon fork, a little higher stack. I did trim it a little bit for them, so you can have adjustment. And the cables for the brakes are a little bit long due to the reason of adjustments there. So if he finds that he wants to go a little higher up, more upright, got that flexibility. And look at that paint. Looks pretty good with the ceramic coating. Put a ceramic coating on the wheels. So let's talk about what issues or things I just had to be challenging when I switched out. Well, first, it was a super long steer tube on the fork. So that definitely would have to be cut and trimmed by a professional mechanic if you don't have the tools. The front brake rotor, this little plate here was set for the dropout. It had to be flipped over to accommodate the positioning on the through axle fork, which wasn't really too big a deal, but it took a couple minutes to figure out. The front wheel trued up well. The rotor went on. It's a tubeless system we put in there. You notice the gold, matching the gold. Yeah, attention to details on that. The headset's a little greased up. It was okay. I mean, for out of the box, not a big deal. So that was kind of like a pretty good lift of getting that fork on there and getting the front rotor to match. Other than that though, the bottom bracket seems to be tight, bolts too, pedals went on. They're just an inexpensive platform pedal. Adjusting of the micro Event X shifter, derailleur, shifts fine, it's good. Rear brake actually adjusted pretty well in addition to, didn't really have to do too much there. A little bit of adjustment, and on these brakes there's a pad adjustment on both sides with a 3mm, so you can adjust those pads back and forth in addition to the actual plate here. And then a tubeless on the back as well, and they're holding air, so I did my job. So other than that, grease the seat post. I'm going to be greasing the bolts here so we don't have any contaminants for the customer. All the bolts are torqued up front. Ready for the test ride. Hey, let's take this baby out. You want to check it out? All right, let's go take this guy for a spin, right? Proof is in the pudding. All right, so this is actually my size, which is actually pretty cool in the case. So you got your standard flat bar position on this guy, and like I mentioned before, you'll have to burn the brake pads. You'll hear that pinging. That's like new wheels settling. That's pretty normal. We try to pre-stretch those spokes when we chew the wheels, but that's just kind of how it goes. All right, well, it hasn't completely collapsed underneath me. Didn't expect it to. In any case, oh man, this actually feels pretty good. Yeah, so I'm going to go through the 10 speeds in the back on a slight upcline hill here, neighborhood. And with these big spread one-bys, they're pretty chunky. I mean, they're anticipating you being in the gear a longer period of time, so you can be shifting less. So that's kind of how it all rolls. But other than that though, it feels good. Pretty comfortable. Test the brakes. Yeah, the brakes need to be burned in, so I will be pedaling while the brake pads are engaged. Another upgrade you can do is you get a different metallic brake pad that has better grip, that kind of thing. But the actuation of the cable is pretty smooth, so you got to burn them in. It takes a little bit of a workout effort. And again, when you burn these in, do not touch the rotors afterwards, because they will be smoking hot and burn you, brand you. So for an inexpensive gravel bike, this is the flat bar version with upgraded through axle wheels. Yeah, they're starting to feel a little better now. We're starting to get broken in a little bit. The geometry on it feels pretty good. As you can see, I can see the hub behind me. So if I did a drop version of this, I may go with a little bit shorter stem or more upright for your traditional gravel cyclocross, but it does have an upright position. This one has a pretty long leg, so good extension on the legs as I can feel on that. And shifting is actually not bad. All right, let's open it up a little bit. Show you where I'm going. Accelerate. Yeah, it accelerates great. Yeah, slows down good. Yeah, this is an awesome little bike. I would say pretty solid. I mean, could the brakes be improved? Sure. Can the shifting be a little smooth? Honestly, the shifting on this feels very close to the GRX, which is a Shimano's version, a little bit nicer, supposedly. But when you went to the 1x, they're all chunky. So you may have one more gear or two, you know, up to 12 speeds on those. But hey, actually not too bad. There we go. Exhibition. Oh boy, got myself a little bit of workout. Ride's good, feels good, solid underneath. Good range of shifting, range of components in the back. Upright positions, more relaxed. And if you look at the height of the head tube, you have a little bit of that compact style framing. Carbon fork really absorbed a lot of the front. Yeah, that's not bad. For under $1,000 new, I couldn't ask for any more. There's your Poseidon review of the X. Yeah, like it. Well, anyway, if it's really nice in your neighborhood, please go for a ride. It's a beautiful day here. It's getting a little toasty. As you can tell, I'm sweating it out, probably dripping on the camera. In case any information is listed below in the description, please throw down a comment if you have one or heard of them or worked on them in the comments below. As a community, as always, you make this happen. So thank you for watching, and yeah, go for a ride, enjoy it. Again, well, thank you from the garage, and have a wonderful day. Until next time.